To smoke, y'all. What's up, all my jokers, tokers, and smokers? It's your boy, Chef Rodney117 here with Deliciously Dope TV, bringing you yet another strain of the week with the wonderful, the amazing Amy Sharyn. Amy, how you doing this week, babe?
Hey, good morning. Happy Monday,
Good
guys.
morning.
Good morning, Canna fam.
What do you got for us this week?
This morning I have G Perks. It is a mix of G6 and Purple Punch. It's more of an indica dominant hybrid. I say very indica dominant, very relaxing. It's very like piney and berry type of perplexing type of mix. Kind of hard to explain. Kind of have to really smoke it to see what it tastes like. Not very dark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. So it's interesting that like you're doing some G perps because I'm not sure if you caught on to it, but Friday was like the day that I like officially started dabbing. I went out and bought, I refer to it as unicorn dick. It's just like this purple and blue light cotton candy colored little like this is called a nectar collector. I actually take this and I put my this is like some sex that like this is just weird. It looks like aliens have, but anyways, I put my mouthpiece in the end and it gives me a cleaner hit every time. Because the mouthpiece in the end, and this is a shout out to Moose Labs real quick, but they come with like I got this little purse of things. It's pretty neat. I know, a man with a purse, right? It's like a little pouch.
Yeah.
But they come in these little tubes, man, and it's like kind of hard to get into them a little bit, but it's like these little filters.
Okay,
you
yeah.
can see that real quick.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But you pop it into your mouthpiece, and it filters out all the smoke and shit and just bullshit out of your hit, which I absolutely love because, like, I love smoking. Don't get me wrong. But any kind of combustion is bad for your lungs, whether it be cigarettes, anything combustible is bad for your lungs.
How long do those filters last for?
With dabbing, I'm not sure, but like honestly, if I were to smoke out of a bong, me being an average smoker, I'm gonna blow through a filter every 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
So with dabbing, I just changed it. So we're gonna take one hit out of the dab rig today and kind of show people the difference, if you will. But I want to talk about G Perps a little bit. Now, where does G Perps come from? Because it does have an interesting lineage.
Right. So we have G6, which is like jet fuel, and then we have Purple Punch.
Okay.
So that's two different ends of this, like totally the spectrum of it. So it's all like purple, indica dominant, and then jet fuel, which is more sativa.
Right.
But this one's more. This is heavier indica dominant feel. Some people say that they feel energetic.
Right.
Not feeling I'm feeling very, very relaxed. I feel like it's easing my pain, for sure.
Right. We did have some footage of that, y'all, but I started dabbing this weekend, so everything went out the window. Sorry. I can actually take the dabbing and make it last longer, so it's huge for me. And the medicinal benefits and things. But what does we were talking about G Perps, the smell and how perplexing it was a little bit. Right. What does it smell like? Give people, the viewers, the listeners here, a little bit of the idea of what you're kind of
like piney
experiencing.
And berry-ish. It has like a piney, berry type of smell.
Right.
So it's sort of like uplifting.
Like and, kind of pungent.
And a diesel type of scent. So you could see the buds to it.
Oh, that looks good. Those look nice and dense from what I can see.
Fluffy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, it's interesting because they do look dense.
Mm-hmm. They are.
They look like good. They're good sized nugs too. I hate that, man. When you go to a dispensary or you go somewhere, oh, you better not get that in the carpet.
Got it.
You know, I hate it when you go to a dispensary and you get these nugs and they're popcorn nugs, man. They're not very good, you know, and it's just like I'm not feeling it. You know, and it's just like, yo, this doesn't look like a very good eighth. Like, what are you trying to do to me right now? Like, give me something I could use. You feel me? And
yeah, no, I hear you.
It's interesting.
I could roll about 5 cones out of it, and somebody it's like a roll like 9 cones out of it. So
out of an eighth?
Yeah.
Man, I need to learn how to roll your cones because, like, when I roll a joint, like an eighth, I'm getting 3 joints out that.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I roll minis. I know, like, I'm not gonna have a lot of time. Sometimes I roll big out, where I'm like, you know, I got a lot of time.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Having tasted G-Perps before, I'm sure you're a fan, right?
I am a big fan.
Okay. So how about this? How about we go ahead and both smoke and kind of get into it, and then we can talk about, you know, what G-Perps taste like and stuff like that. Because we've kind of already covered the color. You know, what color does G-Perps have? You said they were fluffy with, you know, curly leaves that turn purple near the stem, right?
Right.
Okay. Like lime green to the ends, because that's what I remember G-Perp like looking like.
Yeah, lime green, some orange hairs as well.
How are those the trichomes you're talking about?
Yes.
Love those. Absolutely love those. Now, question, how sticky is it?
Not so sticky.
Not so sticky?
It's actually very cured.
Okay. All right. Love that. All right. Let's get into it. So while you're kind of, you know, blazing up, I'm going to take a dab real quick. I actually have to go get a new butane torch because I've been dabbing so much. So this is probably going to be like the last dab for a few hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's fine. Dabbing is like definitely a new art form, and like I'm with it, man. I love it. I do like I'm trying to figure out like what temperatures and shit, like low temp dabbing.
Okay.
So I came up with an invention that I want to do some patent pending on.
Yeah.
And like, you know, patent myself and stuff like that. But I'm going to be working with my dad on this one because he's a very brilliant man. So like the intelligence that you see, yeah, I clearly got that from both of my parents.
That's great.
So that should be nice and hot. And the time that you take to wait for it to cool down a bit, you throw your mouthpiece in the end, and then you just go to town.
See, I'm so not informed about dabbing. I've taken dabs only a handful of times from a couple of friends of mine, but I would love to learn more about it.
And that's all you need. That's literally all you need. A little bit goes a long way with dabs, and I absolutely love it. I'm smoking on some Thin Mint cookies from my girl, Bad Girl Buds. She makes some amazing, you know, products. She knows that she does. She is a bad girl, let me tell you. And then I got some Asher's Finest Rosin from Eric Asher. He does our From Green to Gold segment on every other Thursday at 5. This past Thursday is the first day that like I sat down with him and kind of learned how dabs go. So let's take a look at the filter after one dab.
Okay, yeah.
And not a huge hit. So we'll pop it out of here, and yeah, look at that. It's still clean after one hit.
That's good. That's good.
There's nothing. You can't see anything on that. And of course it's going to be, because here's the thing. There's no combustion that happens. It's one of the purest ways to smoke, you know, cannabis. And so I've turned on to it. Now, a little bit about me. I actually have really bad allergies and asthma. And the reason that I have asthma is because I smoked cigarettes for being a chef, you know, for X numbers of years and stuff like that, and working in kitchens, and you get the idea. And it's usually triggered by, I'm allergic to smoke and combustion, so I'm just not having a good time trying to smoke weed, you know, and certain things will dry it out and whole mess. It's nasty. So you can just imagine like trying to smoke weed during Corona. Like I was always paranoid. You know what I'm saying? That, I have Corona.
Yeah.
No, what it really was allergies. It absolutely was allergies. I got it looked at by the doctor, the allergist. They're like, yep, that's what it is, and shit like that.
And everybody's looking at you.
Right. And so like I was taught by a lot of people that smoke weed. They're like, listen, come to the dab side. You know what I'm saying? It's cleaner. It's better for you. It's going to clear that shit out of your lungs. Yo, real talk. They're not bullshitting you. If you start slow and you start dabbing slow, low temp dabbing, and you get used to it over time, you'll start to like cough this shit up and just get that phlegm and bullshit out of your chest. Like all that, because when you're smoking joints, all that like resin and stuff goes right back down into it, settles in your lungs. It's seriously disgusting. Like I've looked at it, like X-rays, and people have showed me, and it's just like, all right. But at the same time, I'm gonna smoke that joint. They pass it to me in the circle. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I know the risk now.
Yeah.
But sorry, I digress. That dab did a really good job for me. You know what I'm saying? Real quick. I love it.
To send me some info on that because I smoke paper all the time. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely not,
It's a little bit pricey to get into it first, but so everything is. That's just how it is. Yeah. So I spent $20 on my nectar collector, which is made of silicone. It's a good basic ass like beginning dab tool. This is a good way to start. Huh?
That's only $20.
Yeah, $20, and it comes apart to clean. It's made of silicone. You can actually store your dabs up here, but I do not recommend it on this model because this is a soft silicone, and you want a hard silicone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To keep your shit in. It's porous, so I wouldn't do anything. But so this is kind of just there for the aesthetic look, I guess now. But it actually helps because I can hold it like a cigar right there, and put my piece in, and use my other hand to do what I got to do. So what you're doing, you don't really have to have the mouthpiece, but that's just like an added filter for me.
Okay. Yeah.
But it does filter inside the chamber here. You see what I'm saying? So you're not getting a direct flow of hot particles or anything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In your mouth. That's awesome. You can also take it apart, clean it. You can get glass ones with water in them. You can get bubblers. And then this will go into the dab rigs. Interesting enough, the rig that I have, you can take the piece out of and put I think a female part of the dab rig, and you can use the rig that I have as a dab rig as well. So I'm going to buy the other part and eventually move to that with the pearls and the cap and the whole nine. I really like dabbing. I really got into it. I really enjoy it. I see what the fuss was about. But being a chef all these years, it was just quicker for me to bam, 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 roll some bullshit ass, quick joint. Sometimes, most of the time, I didn't even have time to do that. That was just when I, was sober enough to kind of do the 2-pile technique and get a half-ass, stogie rolled. Like rolling a joint was difficult because, and I'm not making excuses, but as a chef, I have hand injuries. Like I can't feel from this pinky to down. I couldn't for years, but now that I've been doing cannabis and CBD therapy, I'm starting to get some feeling back, and let me tell you, it's fucking weird. But I've had reconstructive surgery to my hands. Not carpal tunnel tendonitis, but arthritis is already, I wouldn't say setting in, but my hands feel better when I put CBD cream on them, obviously. And so it's like huge difference, you know what I mean? But we didn't really have the time to like roll joints or anything. So it was like just grab what you could smoke in. Pop cans, hugely familiar with that. I've smoked out of more pop cans in my life than I would like to admit to. Beer cans, Monster, Red Bull cans, it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I'm not even gonna lie to you. This past weekend, we went to my friend's house, and he's like, hey, man, I love your show. All right, dude, stop moving. Like, I love him to death. He wasn't actually moving, but it was a good interaction because I haven't seen those friends since Halloween. You know what I mean? Like, and they got their little son, Henry. He's cute as hell. I love him to death. I really do. And we were hanging out with him, and he's got a birthday coming up, so we were talking about what to get him. He wants something Elmo, and so it got to the point to where later in the night, she's like, hey, yeah, he's got some science weed out in the garage if you want to go smoke it. I was like, well, is your garage heated? Because I'm a prissy ass bitch. And he's like, no, I was joking. Well, I knew beforehand it wasn't heated. We'd done many bonfires there in the summer, and I was just being a dick, and I was like, dude, someone says I got a baggie of science weed. Come on.
I mean, I smoked out of soda cans, so many times, and all that.
So we get out there, and we get out, get our coats back on, shoes, and we fucking make the trek the whole 30 feet out there to smoke in the garage. It wasn't that bad because it was enclosed and it wasn't heated, but it was insulated, so it helped. And he busts out this little baggie. He goes, yeah, man, this is the hippie shag. And like I looked at it and it was just absolute garbage. He goes, but it will get you really, really high. I'm like, that's not what it's all about. He goes, yeah, that's what I use when I can't drink. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. And he just set that aside. Obviously, when he did the action of putting it aside, he didn't really That they solidified the fact that, yo, I got something better for you. And I was like, that's not the science weed? Because that looked like a fucking science experiment. And so he busts out this little baggie of all these little popcorn nugs. Now, the reason this is relevant is because earlier I was like, I fucking hate popcorn nugs. They're small, they're tiny. It is what it is. Yo, these popcorn nugs, though. That science weed, though. I felt like I was Nikola Tesla for about 10 minutes. That's how good it was. You know what I mean? It was really good. And so he's getting me more information on it. Why it's called science weed, because it's an inside running joke for them, and it's absolute hilarious. For me, it was a little bit of, okay, I've played that game of like, yo, let's put this in my mouth and see how it tastes. And there's reactions ranging from absolute great, I love what you put in the dish. People thought I wasn't talking about food. But, you know, I love the dish. Teach me how to make that to like, yo, I can see what you did there and played with these flavors. I can see that. That's your palate. And then it ranges to, why would you ever think you could serve this to a human being?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and it's like Bourdain used to say, man, you have to have the bad meals to have a good one. You know what I mean? And it's just a balance of the world. You have to have some bad weed to have some good weed. That's the entire point of this actual broadcast here. Strain of the week.
So this is some good weed. This is very relaxing.
100%.
So calm. I'm just like, I don't want to move. It's not energetic.
I want to know more about like, what does it taste like?
It tastes like piney and grape-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
With like a gassy hint?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's interesting. That's very interesting because like in the culinary world, piney and grape though? Like when you say...
They don't really go together, but they kind of somehow. They balance each other out well. It's not too much of each. It's I would say like half and half or like 60-40. Okay,
so oddly enough, and maybe it's just because I'm very elevated in this moment. Mm-hmm. When I think piney and grape, my mind, when you say piney grape, it automatically goes to the Fabuloso cleaner. Like chemical cleaner that you can buy to clean it. That, for some reason, when you say piney grape, that's where my mind goes.
That's called like a pine grape scent.
I mean, it smells great. You know what I'm saying? You smell it in every wannabe Mexican restaurant in the United States. Right. Their bathrooms always smell clean because they use the exact same shit. You know what I mean? It's iconic. But at the same time, it's not shit. It's very great cleaner. I love Fabuloso. But when you say piney grape, that's what I see and think of instantly. But
it's fabulous, so I guess it works.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm thinking, and this is where it's perplexing and twisting. I'm thinking this is an indica, dominant hybrid, okay?
Right.
That means I wouldn't want to put it with a breakfast food. But when you say piney and grape, I could go breakfast with that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But indica, so scratch that. So this is how you would this is how you would menu write if you were cooking with cannabis. Okay. You see what I'm saying? There's more to it, knowing your competition, knowing the local, favorites, local dishes, local people. There's a lot more into it. Price points are different. You get the idea. What can you source things from? Da-da-da-da-da-da. And then you add cannabis to that. There's just one more thing, but it's great. But simply put, piney, grape, yeah, I would go straight to breakfast or brunch. Brunch I could get away with. But I fucking hate brunch.
Why do you hate brunch?
It's pointless.
You want to pick one meal, you don't want to combine
See,
them.
I hate brunch because I've always had to work brunch, and it's absolutely fucked, and people are still half drunk showing up, but I didn't say that, I said this. No, that's what you said, we all heard you say it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Sitting at the rail, like the kitchen's right there, we can hear you, like it's an open kitchen. We all heard you say this. But because the customer is always right in that mentality, we have to give you whatever you want. This is the third week now you've come in here and ripped us off.
Ugh.
It's starting to get personal. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just that crowd. And the customer's not always right. Let me prove it. Okay. Any customer that's like, yo, I can cook a steak better than you. Let's go. Let's go. Mind you, I've got 26 years of being a chef behind knowing what I can do to challenge anyone to cooking a steak. At the same time, you will learn a lesson, however the outcome is. That is the point of it. You understand? Let's say that your steak tastes better than mine. You're like, I've never been to proper culinary school. No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. If yours does taste better than mine, time out. I'll admit defeat. That's fine, man. You just beat 26 years of experience. Now show me how you did it.
Right.
I get to learn something, motherfucker. Right. That's seen as a win-win situation right there. Mm-hmm. You feel me? That's how you got to look at life. We can disagree and learn from each other and respect each other. Cannabis helps with that. And that's another reason why we're doing Story of the Week. I love this vibe sesh, girl. I can get my little addition out, if you will. I'm just kidding. That was terrible. I will never repeat that ever again. But no, G Perps, back on track. Sorry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I could get away with brunch. Mm-hmm. Let's see. If I was going to put it in something grapey, I wouldn't put it in something grapey. I would put it in like a cranberry compote, which is like a thick sauce, if you will. Okay. Usually made of fruit, citrus, or not. So cranberry, you can do it with like blueberries, anything berry-wise you could use as a compote. So, that being said, you said grape. So I would do a blackberry compote, a sweetened blackberry compote with, you ready for this? A flame roasted whole, like partridge hen. You understand? Like a quail. Okay? Something that I can get a real rustic, like savory, aromatic, yet like poultry taste out of. Just naturally. And then I would take that and just, serve it in its own fucking juices, man. Seriously, like present your chicken and then right there at the table basically just ladle a little bit of the hot juice over it. Get it out there. Make sure it's moist. Don't cook it dry. I would infuse that. After I cook my chicken. Mm-hmm. Right there's your sauce. That's actually a perfect, temperature. It's starting to cool down. It's hitting that. You can play with it. So I would actually hit that with, a THC oil or a tincture or whatever, however I wanted to administer it. Not a butter though. I don't want to add butter to this dish. Okay, I could use a butter there, but I don't want to. I want them to taste the chicken and the weed. The butter would just would create a barrier between poultry and flavors. So it's you have to know how to manipulate that. It's malleable for a reason, more than one way. But I would absolutely infuse after I plated up the chicken, because you take it out, break it down, however you want to do it, however you want to serve it. Cook it whole, pull your bones, present it, sheath it, whatever you want to do, French it. Put it on the plate, and then right before, as the sauce is still hot and cooling down a little bit, I infuse it with the G-Perps, okay? And then I ladle that over the chicken and give it a few minutes to kind of rest. You're gonna eat that up, man. You're gonna eat that up. Then I would take the purple part of this and also infuse the compote that I would lay along on the chicken, so you could add to it or not. If you don't want to get extra lift, you don't get extra lifted. And then I would just do like some kind of vegetable on the side, like organic carrots and like some kind of starch, like parsnip puree. Nice. That right there.
That sounds really good. Yeah,
but it's difficult to use G-Perps in food, like it's because you're telling me it's it's an indica, so you're gonna want to eat this at night.
Yeah. So it's like a nighttime. Yeah, it's
right.
A nighttime meal. It has a 23% THC. It's tested at like 5% CBD. So.
Now that's a 70-30 split, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. It's a good dominance. Yeah.
It's anybody that's a fan of Granddaddy Perp or Purple Punch.
Yeah.
You owe your allegiance to this strain, because that's what. Without this strain and mixing this strain with G6. Hello, jet fuel again. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be able to get, Granddaddy Perp or Purple Punch. You know what I'm saying? It's all coming from G-Perps.
Yeah, this is
So
straight indica. This is perfect for
Purple Urkel, OG Kush, Larry OG.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely, go pick it
good.
up. From what I'm reading, from what I'm
Smooth,
seeing. Mm-hmm.
calming, not like too harsh, nice taste, nice effects. I like it.
You seem more relaxed. You do. You're just kind of like, all right.
Relax.
You're like fighting to stay alive.
I am. I'm way too relaxed for Monday. I have things to do, and I don't want to do anything.
It's a bad Monday weed.
Yeah. But no,
do not smoke on Mondays. Now, do you think that that's something that somebody should do? If marijuana, cannabis were affordable, it's the dry mouth with this strain. Sorry.
Oh, I have the worst dry mouth.
No, I know.
Oh, sorry.
You're all right. So let's say that people grew their own cannabis, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say that they grew 7 different strains to have a variety and one for each day.
I like that.
You see what I'm saying? Okay. So then you're sharing with people, blah, blah, blah. But you come down to, you remember that pill box?
Yeah.
What if that pill box instead was like a bigger pill box,
okay,
and it had your Monday weed, your Tuesday weed, your Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and each weed was specifically picked for a specific strain to do a specific function on a specific day when you have specific things planned?
I mean, that's a perfect idea, right?
Mm-hmm. What if there was a little bit of a tray that was also linked to an app where you could share that with your friends?
Well, why do you want to share it? I don't want to tell anybody.
Hang on a second. Maybe you do. Because let's say that they're like, oh, on Mondays, I do not use G perps. Well, why? You know this. Somebody else would like to, in conversation, be like, hey, why wouldn't you use...
that? Yeah, I would share the data, but not
right.
not
yeah.
And I'm smoking and all that.
Correct. Stuff. Now, hang on a second. What if somebody's like, oh, hey, man, if you like G perps, you'll really like this granddaddy perp or this purple punch that I've got. You should try it. Oh, hey, I'll trade you some of this, G perps for that. Okay. It's learning about the medications and what they do. It's sharing the strains. Yes, I'm not going to deny there's a lot of bastardized seeds and stuff out there, and bastardized seeds that are just like, they call it kitchen sink because, what else isn't in it? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so many strains mixed with this, mixed with that. Lineages are crazy. Genealogy is crazy. But I think that, trading strains and seeds and things like that, 100% should happen if you want it to happen.
No,
I totally agree.
Definitely sharing data and sharing information about like what you like, what day you like it, what time you like it. Like, I like this. I like this more at like 7 o'clock at night,
Okay. Like after a workout.
Yeah. After a full day and a workout. This is a nice like reward, So now I'm rewarding myself now, but that's my data. This is my input. Like, it's helping. It's like relaxing. I have like cramps. Sorry, but like this is helping.
It's natural. It's natural.
So, this helps. But I definitely have like dry mouth for sure.
So have you ever heard, we're going to talk about them cramps. No, you can't point them out. All right. We're going to talk about them. That's fine. I'm all about it. Check it out. Women should absolutely rule the world. I'm just saying, I know, hear me out, obviously. Plus, if you disagree with that, let's have a conversation. Okay. I've worked in kitchens with both men and women, and honestly, the most tolerant are the women, okay? The most knowledgeable are the women. The most nicest, as nice as the chef can be, you died on this, are the women. So it's, women honestly can handle stressful situations a lot better than men. I'm being honest with you. They can. I've seen it. I've seen grown men cry and sob like babies because the steak's taking forever and it's unimpressing, this certain person. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever have you. Like, I've seen full men break down. Okay? I've seen all kinds of shit. I've seen some very vile men in my life. I've, taken myself out of their lives, Women, every single woman that I've worked with in a kitchen, like on the line with, like a knife in the hand, side by side in the ranks, I'm still friends with to this day. What does that tell you? So 100%, women should rule the world. That being said, I think that openly talking about periods and cramps and things like that should be okay to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? Like, why they're not feeling good. I would rather them tell us that they're not feeling good so we don't assume some bullshit, because men overthink. Trust us. We have two heads for a reason. You're welcome. My point is, you know what I'm saying? Like, communication should be completely open. So if you're like, yo, I'm having really bad cramps. Yo, that sucks. So let's try and make your day a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, yo, that must really suck. That being said, have you ever heard of endometriosis?
Yes.
Okay. Endometriosis, for the men or anyone who doesn't know, could you explain it to them? Because I have a meaning, but I'm pretty sure like I'm gonna try and like I'll say it after you say yours.
The lining of the uterus.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like,
yeah.
If you have like a thick lining or like a light lining. That's it.
A lot of it's painful though. So shedding the line of your uterus is painful.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's what causes the cramps. Endometriosis is a chronic, that happening a lot more painful, a lot more frequently, right?
Like, could be like some people have issues, some people have like other stuff going on, having ulcers or like spots or like fibroids.
Cervical cancer, things of that nature.
Fibroids, other issues, or just have like really bad cramps, like,
or even kidney stones.
All the time, just someone just like
right.
I just like need a day or two and just bum around and
100%. I get that. See, and it's so where I was going with this is I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think that you're open with it, you're honest with it. You're like, dude, today sucks. Yeah. And it does. And that's fine, because you have to have bad days in order to have good days. You feel me? You know that. Do you think that an indica or a sativa would be most useful to helping aid the symptoms in this?
Well, this indica is helping
a
lot, but it's definitely making me more relaxed than I should be because I have things to do. So.
Well, that's fair. So that's probably creating a little bit more stress, right?
Sativas, like I smoke. This does happen often, so I know some sativas, some like AK-47 will help as well.
You ever smoke a sativa and an indica and you get the Forrest Whitaker thing going on with your eyes?
I feel like my eyes are never open when I'm high. I always feel like they're half closed. So yeah.
It is. People were like, "Hey, you just wear sunglasses online all the time because you just want to smoke." No. I'm smoking regardless. That's what you don't understand. I have a lot of bright lights in my end, and they hurt my eyes, so I pop on sunglasses. And people are like, "Well, then just turn the lights down. Then you can't see me. So use that vanity however you want." But no, back to like the female reproductive system. I'm joking. Well, I mean, because here's the thing. Some people, both strains are both sativa and indicas and ruderalis, have anti-inflammatory properties, medicinal properties. Sorry. Hi, I'm trying to figure out what I want to say. So, anti-inflammation, anti-nausea, all these things, all these medicinal benefits. Now, terpenes have it, food has it. Did you know that there's actually, they're finding, you ready for this? They're finding in yeast, it has a terpene profile.
Really?
Uh-huh. So, if it has a terpene profile and there's cannabinoids added to that, see where I'm going with this? Bread.
Things ensemble, add things on
bread.
Each other.
People love bread. You see what I'm saying?
Not me, but yeah.
Hang on. Well, they do. But not you. Okay. But hang on. I'm going somewhere with it.
I know.
Bread's addictive. People love bread and carbs. Wine is addictive. It has a terpene profile too.
Yeah.
The aromas, the taste, it does. Okay. Chocolate.
Yes.
Cannabis.
Yes.
Food.
Yes.
See my point? Mm-hmm. Everything we're going to find out has a different terpene profile. These terpenes, dude, this is just the start. This is just the start. So it's like, and we learn this. We've known this, but we've learned to apply this over cannabis, especially over the last 5 years. You know, so we're on the front lines of this. So this is actually
like, what would they do with yeast?
Oh, here's the thing. So do you bread, man? When you bake anything baked goods, donuts, like that's why people love donuts. No one knew. No one knew that, okay, if after I eat a donut, I feel good because of the bread. They're like, oh, it's just the bread. Oh, it's really sweet. But yeah, fast forward 20 years, you're still working that same job at GM. You're still punching that clock, getting up at 5:45 in the morning, out the door by 6 because, dude, I didn't get enough sleep last night. But on the way there, you got to stop and get a couple of donuts, a banana chocolate milk for later, the newspaper to read on your break, and your coffee, and it's before you get into punch into work. That's the lives of people in my area. So many people I've seen, in the morning, when I'm drunkenly, stumbling home, they've got like a box of donuts, man. There's a place locally here called Quality Dairy, and they just shell out donuts left and right. They know what's going on because they looked at the science. But why, trade secrets? It's all just bread. But as you're piling all of these, donuts in your gut, down into your gullet and stuff, you're not realizing like what's actually happening because you're so used to it. It's a secondary reaction. You just eat it, tastes good. Eat it, tastes good. No, eat it, tastes good. You just, you're kind of like acting like a troll at this point. You don't care what it is. You just eat it. You didn't even taste it. You know what I mean? But that's the point. That's where we learn what we like and what we dislike. Notice dogs fucking do it too. Dogs love... Dude, my extra fanliest, I feed it to both of my dogs. They love them. Wash them first, but I feed it to, and then they love them. You know what I mean? It's absolutely like... It's really good for them, but you got to make sure you wash them. But it's good for them. I'll give them a couple of fan leaves, and they'll just go and lay down.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing right now. Notice. Yeah, no barking, no whining, nothing. Nope. That's because Dad woke up this morning and goes, oh, I got this shit figured out real quick, and just kind of made it rain cannabis leaves in the kitchen watching it. I should have got video of that. It was hilarious. Like watching him trying to chomp at it. Hilarious. But notice, not a peep out of either one of them. I love it. I love it. Now, going back to the terpene profile of yeast, they're finding that when you mix it with certain specific things and break it down and stuff like that, eating it makes you feel good. There's a chemical reaction in your body. Got it. That's what happens. That's the exact same thing that happens when you consume cannabis. You see what I'm saying? It's messing with the endocannabinoid system.
Yeah. That's
all I read into it, but now you know what I'm going to be reading, and watching for.
To grow on yeast.
Huh?
If you could grow it on yeast, flavor.
You can't. So here's the thing. Yeast is living. It's a bacteria, okay? Right. That's what it is, okay? There's a chemical reaction after the bacteria eat certain things and and you feed them. That's all you're doing. And then you get yeast. That's what it is. If you just so happen to light that shit on fire, it bakes. Then you manipulate it certain ways. You get the idea, blah, 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 blah. From pizza to breads, from breads to other breads, to donuts. You know what I'm saying? It's in a bunch of shit. But at the same time, I don't know how that would work. The only way that I could find to incorporate yeast, and correct me if I'm wrong, would be to put it into a living soil. A living soil has like worms in it. Right. It's like living, which means like when you dig into it to kind of replace the plants or something, I'm not 100% sure on this, but like when you like go to plant it and stuff, there's going to be worms and bugs and shit all crawling in it. So you better be good with like all of the creepy crawlies, if you will, if you plan on using living soil to grow. Me personally, I just, I don't do, living soil, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, living soil, that's the only thing that I would think to put yeast into if I was going to grow. Because otherwise, I feel like if you got it into the buds while they were... And that's the question. Will it travel up the plant into the buds and just create bud rot? Because that's That's how it happens. You know what I mean? So it's like, because then none of that's usable.
I don't know. Maybe somehow you could like grow it, like manipulate it some way. Try.
You can.
Yeah.
You can grow yeast.
Yeah.
100%. That's how you do it.
Saying like grow it and see like other terpenes, like other profiles.
What do you think? So what do you think a dough starter is?
Yeast.
That's what it is. What? Yeah, you literally can make, you can create yeast, okay, with flour and water.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. So that's what you're trying to, you want that funk, you can grow it. Everybody did a sourdough starter back when the pandemic first happened. Were they alive today? Yeah. Maybe, maybe not. I used mine. I know how to make them. It just became an extra chore for me. I'll do it again if provoked. What I can tell you is this. 100%, I do have a vinegar mother. Not very many people can say that. Had the same one going for, I don't know, 6-7 years now.
Yeah.
Use it when I want to, keep feeding it, you know what I'm saying? So it's just something that I do in addition to growing and things like that. Because apple cider vinegar like that with the mother, there's more health benefits in that than anything you'll find at McDonald's. You know what I mean? So it's plus you get an ear infection like we were talking about the puppy dogs earlier.
Oh, yeah. So how do I do
Boom,
that?
there you go. So you're going to take 50% apple cider vinegar, 50% rubbing alcohol, mix that, and then take that volume plus that volume of water.
Okay.
Stir it up real good, get a syringe, hold her down. What I would do is I would put her under your arm, pull her ear back with your hand like that, and then just drop it in there, and then hold her ear shut and try and hold her so she doesn't shake it out.
I'll have to both ears, the vet said.
Yeah.
Great.
It's interesting because it's like if you just look at holistic like solutions, even with cannabis, and you talk cannabis to any vet, they're like, do it. It ain't going to hurt him at all. I'm like, yo, my dog ate a bunch of my weed. He's like, he'll wake up hungry as shit in about 2 hours. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, vets know, man. They get it. They're like, yo, it's cool. And so like, let's say you had to take her to the vet and it's a $200 bill. Easy. You know what I'm saying? Just for for eardrops. And then you got to remember to do it.
What I do is like take her. She hates me in the car right now. She's like walking around like this. Yeah. I feel so bad.
Oh, yeah. What she probably did was scratching in her ear. All right. And she probably nicked it. Didn't think anything of it. And some dirt probably got in there. Look for infection. If there is infection or anything serious looking, like red, scratches, bleeding.
It's fine. It looks fine. That's the thing.
Then, just here's some eardrops and call it a day.
This, like, all the way. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? But she's eating and she's drinking and she's peeing and she's pooping and she's fine. She's just like, bad. I feel bad.
She could just be tired. I don't know.
No.
Try the eardrops.
I'll try the drops. I'll definitely see that.
I mean, and you got all this stuff to do it. You got rubbing alcohol. Yeah. That's free.
And I bought the apple cider vinegar yesterday.
Yeah.
Actually. So that's perfect.
And what happens when... That's actually a good question. So I think where you meant to go with this is this. Instead of growing with yeast, what if we're able to create a vinegar mother with cannabis in it?
Okay.
So it's a growing, microorganism and things like that. It's alive. The vinegar mother is alive, but then you add cannabis to it. What happens? That's a good. See, that's the $1 million question, because we understand that if we add cannabis to it now with yeast, what will happen? It's a good question. It's a great question. I don't know. I can tell you this. You may or may not just have caused a science experiment in my kitchen.
Yeah, I want to try.
Uh-oh. I'm going to get in trouble because of this. I'm like that little kid that was like, yo, let's do a volcano. And I spent hours putting it together and it looks bomb. And one button and it blows up everywhere.
We have to video. I want to watch.
Oh, 100%. No, we're going to do this. I think if I'm looking at it correctly... Oh, no. It's just... Because now the question is, so by eating the cannabis that we feed to the bacteria, Will the chemical reaction creating yeast, or creating, dough, yeast, will that happen? Or will they eat the cannabis? We don't know. We would have to do this in a lab, which I could probably set up. Then, from that, does the bacteria consuming the cannabis that we feed to it, does the bacteria or decarboxylate the THC by consuming it? Because you're not cooking it, but there's a chemical reaction. Anytime a chemical reaction happens, there's a little bit of vibration. That vibration is heat.
Right.
On the molecular level, if you bring that all the way down, all right, and then you do that flash of heat, you're not going to feel it. No one's going to feel it or anything like that. It's not going to, no, it's not going to happen. But that chemical reaction on a cellular level could decarboxylate and, in theory, amplify the potency of that THC.
Yeah.
In theory. But at the same time, I don't think that that's possible. Here's why. To decarboxylate specific terpenes, you start at literally like 111 to 116 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that's when like the wafty, like that's when like certain terpenes begin to burn off and combust off. Okay, that would mean that if we get to the point of that flash, we would know we would need to be able to put that chemical reaction inside of a hadron collider and find out the temperature of that chemical reaction. Okay, I don't really want to. It's I sit here and I keep thinking like cascade reaction. You know what I'm saying? Like a cascade reaction. That's what I want to call it. A cascade reaction.
You gotta join.
You're all right. Because the cascade reaction is a series of like chemical reactions, and like the last one is eaten, in order to consume. So that's really kind of what happens with like yeast, if you think about it, because the bacteria consumes, one thing, and then boom, something else is born. Ergo, that one thing is consumed. So that's a cascade reaction. You see what I'm saying in my mind? So, for example, think Pac-Man, okay? With each dot, Pac-Man gets bigger, right?
Right.
Okay, that's a cascade reaction. Big fish eats little fish. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's a nature thing. It's the circle of life, food chain, if you will, in my mind. So, based off of that cascade reaction, right when that flash happens, that chemical reaction, in theory, we would need to know what the temperature is and for how long. Because that's how you decarboxylate and pull out, terpene profiles and stuff like that, and you burn them off and shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
Baking brownies for this long decarboxylation period, you get the idea. Now, if that did happen and you could decarboxylate things with yeast, it's changing the game. If you can decarboxylate things with yeast, that would be a perfect way to infuse, I don't know, beer.
Yeah.
Now take that beer and take the alcohol out of it. Now you have you have a beer basically that gets you elevated instead of drunk.
And they're making those right now anyway.
Yep. But we don't know how they're doing it. If that's what they're doing, then that's brilliant. That's fantastic. That's information I would like to know. I am not a alcohol consumer. That's fine. I still use it in my day-to-day. It doesn't bother me. It's just not for me. But I think like us sitting down and talking about, like G perps today and the things that we're smoking on and just kind of learning, what strain is it this week or whatever have you. Like, I think this is important stuff to kind of sit down and think through. I mean, worst case, it's distracting you from your cramps, right?
Yes, definitely.
There you go. And
Having a good morning talking to you, so that's fine.
Yeah. Daily check-in. You ain't gonna be able to do it with me too much longer, to be honest with you. That came out wrong. But the point is, like, there's a lot of things Deliciously Dope's got coming. A lot of things. So right now, Deliciously Dope is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shows.
Yeah.
We've only shown 4 or 5. And as of this week, Deliciously Dope TV is now international with Canada.
That's awesome.
There's going to be a Deliciously Dope TV, the US, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then there's going to be a Deliciously Dope TV Canadian. Because let's face it, what's relevant to me may not be relevant to you. I get that. What's relevant to you may not be relevant to me. I get that.
Right.
But one thing we do have in common, a couple of things, you know, some common ground, is we both consume cannabis and we're both inside the United States. So what's relevant to us really isn't relevant to them. But at the same time, it's the culture and connecting of the cultures that's important.
Right.
What do we all share in common? Food. Cannabis. You see what I'm saying? So that's what Deliciously Dope does. You know what I'm saying? We connect with everything. So they're going to have their own Canadian broadcasting that's also going to be shown on, you know, the US and vice versa, because we're interested in each other's cultures. So we want to be able to bridge that gap. And that's what we're going to be doing. Very simply put. And I love that. We've got some more strain of the week coming up. We're gonna do some tweaking of some stuff, and it's gonna be more structured for y'all. You know what I'm saying? These last few episodes have been like a wild reaction, but you know, you're kind of getting to know us, you know, a little bit. Yeah. Her more so than me. I just don't shut the hell up. I know this, and I apologize. But
no, it's all learning.
You know, exactly. At least my stories are a little bit entertaining. But I love this journey for you. I don't want to quote Schitt's Creek here, but I do. I really do. And I'm not saying that in a condescending tone at all. I really do. Because it's like, you're learning. You're learning. I did a Strain of the Week show, you know, a while back, and it taught me so much. And just from looking, and it wasn't a while back, it was a few months ago. I did it on the In the Weeds podcast. I did one show every Wednesday at 4:20 for a few hours. And that taught me so much about cannabis. I'm excited for you to learn that, and that's what I mean for you. Like and I'm going to help you in any way that I can. But eventually, I would love to see you just pop on and be like, "Sup, bitches? Today we got," you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to see you own it. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
yeah.
Just don't wear Gucci or Prada. I'm joking. You can do whatever you want. Don't tell me. Don't listen to me. Whatever. Be you, girl. Just own it. You know this.
Yeah.
And that's my point. Like, I have a lot of stuff coming up. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Deliciously Dope TV. We watched your movie last year." No, you didn't, but thank you. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, "What do you mean you didn't?" I was like, "That we're 6 months, 7 months old. There's no way you watched a movie from us." They're like, "I've heard of you." I'm like, "That may be so, and I appreciate it, but there's no idea." You know what I mean? And it's just like, there's so many like things I'm doing. I'm writing in a magazine now. Awesome. I'm published in Pigfish Dime magazine here in Michigan, y'all. Like, boom, straight to your faces. And that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? I'm talking to 13 Folds magazine, like, I believe tomorrow or something like that. That's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to be on Cannabis Talk 101 out in California. The Pot Brothers at Law. That's pretty cool. You know, so all these really cool things are, like, coming up for Deliciously Dope. And it's just like, they're like, "Oh, well, you know, yeah, calm down. Yes, I am vain enough to be like, yo, I love being on TV. Fuck y'all." But at the same time, it's like, time out, though. I'm going to use that platform to promote this, to bring all of these things to the surface. Because when I said that I'm going to make a long table long enough for everybody to eat at the same time, that's what I meant. You know, it's all about that.
Yeah.
You're part of that. And thank you again. You know, I enjoy, like, you know, seeing a different perspective. And that's what this show is about. Yeah. That's Strain of the Week. That's the idea. Mm-hmm. The concept behind the depth of Strain of the Week. Because it's not just, hey, I'm smoking this strain this week and it does these things. Yeah. You get to sit down and have a smoke session trying it out. You get to watch these things happen. Sessions do include, you know, idiotic rambling. Hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? And they do include moments of like, exactly. But, you know, moments of like, I'm going to stare at my dog for 5 minutes because he's just such a beautiful, good boy. You know what I mean? Or whatever have you. Yeah. Those things happen in sessions. Yeah. And so people can see that firsthand and see the test monkey, if you will, or the don't test on animals, but, you know, the test subject, don't test on people. But you get the idea. They can see it firsthand. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's corresponding. It is. It's corresponding to a way of like, okay, I've never had Granddaddy Perp before. Smoke, smoke, smoke. This is awesome. This is how I consume. Hey, y'all, let's veg, or hey, y'all, let's sesh, da-da-da-da. What's going on? And you're going to get more and more people engaged in the comments, you know what I'm saying, in section. We'll get to the, reading them. We had a bunch of people comment today. You know what I'm saying? Canna mango eat shit. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I like your name. Like, he just says, yo, yo, yo. Like, boom. I forgot all about these comments. So he says hi. Yeah, we're still live, 100%. Canna, yeah, he says buffering. Yo, Dabba Dave says yo, yo, yo. I came across a video of a gentleman that figured out how to make isolate water soluble. Here's the link, and then he gave us the link. And then figured that might work for infusing beverages, perhaps. Yeah, that might be the way that they're doing it, dude. I couldn't tell you because I don't know, but I can go find out because I do know people doing it. So that's just it. That's the best part about this. If we don't know something, we're going to admit that we don't know, but we're going to find the person who does. Then we both learn. Mm-hmm. It's like a menage a trois of knowledge. Yeah. Actually, it's exactly that.
Weren't you talking about those before?
Menage a trois? I mean, listen, clearly it's French. Clearly. If you're into that, you're into that. Okay?
Are you into that?
But have I done it before? More than once.
Everyone's done it before.
Okay. I don't think that, yeah. I didn't. Okay. Now you got to throw me in the corner here. And it's completely open. I'm just trying to, think of how I want to word it. So it was never really it just happened. You know what I'm saying? It was never really planned or directed or there weren't lights involved or cameras or anything. It was it was in the moment. You know what I mean? I just had a lot more moments than I would like to admit.
More than a handful?
There was a lot of hands. Yeah. Some that weren't mine. Yeah. It's just, listen, us cooks, us chefs, us kitchen industry folk, we understand that you work hard, you play even harder.
Okay.
So we're nice and lit and nice and toasted by the time we even get home. Yeah, all right, drinking and driving is real. Don't condone it. I did it. It is what it is. But, and then you pre-drink again and you go back out. There's a lot of DUIs that happens, a lot of substance abuse, a lot of swearing, taking the Lord's name in vain. And a lot of other things that I just care not to admit on live television or whatever have you yet. We'll get to that point. That's all coming in some of my books. Actually, there's a part of my book where I was on a coke binge and I did a rail off of the back prep table before I left my work. Mm-hmm. Drove home because I figured, I need this boost. I need to stay awake tonight because this really cute hostess, she's going to this party. She's texting me still. This is nuts. This doesn't happen to you. So I had to be on point. I had to be what is it? Charlie Sheen cool. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So, and dude, I was just sweating bullets. It was the fastest service ever. Cause it's the thing, if you're trying to show off for somebody, whoever it is, you're going to move a little faster. You're going to be like, I'm best dressed today. Or you'll make sure you wear deodorant at least, and, and so, and then you just revert back to the same fucking slime ball you were. And you're like, yeah, I'm sorry. There's that, what is it, the honeymoon period or whatever. But,
yeah, it's all an act.
Long story short, I was trying to impress her, but I also wanted to get fucking hammered too. So, I stopped and grabbed booze, da da da. She was older than me, which was weird at the time, but not really. It was only by a few years, and she was, higher up in college. We went to the same college. I seen her on campus. I was like, all right, this is weird, but I'm fucking good with it. And I met her at the party, and she was like, hey, are you okay? I was like, yeah. Oh, I remember being jittery, because I was also nervous, too. Well, cocaine does not help with the jitters. It makes them worse, okay? And so I was like, I just got to get a drink in me. And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I just got to get a drink in me. One drink led to 3 or 4. You know what I mean? It was very sloppy. And she was like, hey, I'm actually going to this other party. Do you want to go? And I'm like, sure. She's like, I'm going to take a cab. I was like, all right, cool. And she's like, I'll text you. I'm going to go outside and wait for the cab. I'll text you when it gets here. I was like, all right, cool. And then right there in my mind, I was thinking, this chick's going to ditch me. You know what I'm saying? Like this chick's gonna ditch me, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, and it's just like men overthinking it. What happened next was not my fault, sort of. Let me tell you what kind of piece of shit I am. Was. So not knowing what cab or like I'm gone. I'm hammered. I should have literally just went to a bedroom and curled up and went to sleep and just slept. I should not have been upright.
Okay.
I was like, fuck, I'm going to go out and smoke a cigarette, you know what I'm saying, and look for this chick in this cab. I don't know what the cab looks like. No idea. And I don't really remember what the chick looked like either. Okay. I haven't been, because that's, you get familiar with people once you're around them, or you're like, okay, I'm learning you. Well, to be fair, she kind of looked like, not say run of the mill, but she would fit into like fashion. You know what I'm saying? If you put her and 3 other people with like blonde hair and blue eyes and, makeup done to the nines next to each other, they all kind of look the same when you're drunk. You understand? Faces blur. I'm coked out. So what happened next is not a reflection of who I am today. Please note that. Okay. I see a cab. All right. I pull up. I shut the door. I'm like, hey man, what's up? Yeah. I'm going with that girl to the other party. He's like, oh, okay, cool. She gets in the other side. But it wasn't her. It was some other random girl. I'm like, hey, yeah, you're going to that party? I didn't know where. She was like, yeah, let's share the cab. I was like, yeah, no, it's on me, like acting like a baller. And I don't even know how much money I threw at the guy. I just threw a bunch of money at him. I don't know. It could have been $10, could have been 50. He didn't say anything when we left, so I don't know. And so like he took us to this party, got her directions. Not the girl that I worked with. Okay. Here's how I found out. So we go to that party. We start hanging out, and it was weird because I knew people at this party too that like I'd previously worked with. I'm like, okay, these are industry folk. How the fuck have you been? So I start talking to these people and shit, right? And like catching up with them, and I'm hammered. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, yo, hey, you want to go do some work? I'm like, let's go do some work. When people say that when they're partying, they're like, yo, let's go do a rail. You know what I'm saying? Let's go do a bump. And we went out to my boy's car and literally like on his cell phone, just right off the phone, man. That's how grungy it was, And I remember doing a bump. I remember like just everything coming, like just flashing, and it gave me that rock star feel, man. I just walked back up in the house and just felt like, I was in a music video or some shit. Like it just came alive, man. It just gave me that rush. And started pounding more whiskey. And, obviously this girl, the one that I met in the cab, the second girl, that sounds terrible, but the second girl didn't even bother with names. I didn't lose sight of her, because it's like, yo, I came to the party with you, whatever. I don't know what was going through my head. And I remember like she came like up to me and I was talking to some people. And I think we were actually making fun of a cooking show, but I don't remember what cooking show. I think it was Hell's Kitchen, to be honest with you, which all of my Hell's Kitchen friends are going to watch this and be like, oh, what about that, you asshole? I love them to death. But we were making fun of something that happened that's probably scripted on Hell's Kitchen. If it is scripted or not, we'll never know. It's an enigma. Whatever. If you work in the kitchen, you know. She walked up to me and she like spun me and she like grabbed, like reached in my pants with her, like the tip of, my dude, you know what I'm saying? Like she like grabbed my pants and pulled me close and was just like, take me home. I'm like, where do you live? That's all I said. I wasn't thinking at the moment, like, and this is happening. It was just a real quick. And if you're as inebriated and as fucked up, on blow that I was, yo, it felt to me like a good, like, what is it? The Fear and Loathing, you know what I'm saying? In Las Vegas. Like it was, yeah. Like I said, I should have curled up and went to bed. So long story short, we ended up getting a cab from there back to my house. and there were some, I'll use the term that I heard on Shameless last night, wifely duties performed in the back of a cab. I say that, not saying that I agree with that, but I'm using it as the correct verbiage to show the actions that took place.
Got it.
Of the oral fixation type.
Got it.
Yeah. So that cabbie was pretty mad, but he just ended up charging us double. Again, I paid for it. He was like, all right, man, have a good night. That was it. I won't tell you what happened after that. I think we all know what that shit leads to when we're young and dumb and full of ambition. Yeah, you thought I was going to say something else. But woke up the next morning going, and I said this. I go, you're not so-and-so. I was drunk still, and I said it.
Oh God.
As soon as so if I wouldn't have said that, it would have, I could have made a relationship work. She got mad and left. Never talked to her again. Clearly, that makes sense. Okay, whoops, my bad. Yo, work's gonna suck now. Yeah. I get to work. You walk into like a little small locker room, and I go to hang up myself and put on my chef coat. And as soon as I did this button up, she came and like reached arms around me and like spun me around and like hugged me. She was like, "What happened to you?" I go, "What do you do? Do you tell her the truth? Do you go, oh, I just went home?" Many a men, hear me out. Many a men would have been like, "Yeah, man, I just had a bad night, honey. Yo, it's cool. Yeah. And just kind of sidestep that. And that's why when you get, to where you can talk about marriage and long-term relationships and things like that, that comes up. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, by the way. No, that's a game changer. That's withheld information. That ain't cool. That's being shady. Right. That's being dishonorable. Me, being a chef with zero code of ethics, there is still honor among us assholes. I go, all right, I'm going to tell you something, and you're not going to like this, but I do think that we should talk after work. She's like, oh, okay. I was like, just know that, and that I'm really sorry. She's like, what the fuck? Like, all right. So it did affect our work performance a little bit, and that sucks. That's why you really shouldn't dip your pen in company ink, if you will. But I told her the truth. Do you know what happened when I told her the truth? I dated her for 6 months. Huh. It was a very good relationship. And then because of college, she was moving away. All you gotta do is tell the truth. She's like, you told me the truth. Yeah. She goes, I'm a little upset, but she goes, but that's a damn good story. Like, she goes, that's a really good story. And it is.
So, you weren't cheating on her. You were not dating her.
No. We were both single. Okay. And here's the thing. Like,
good night.
Mm-hmm. I had pictures of this other chick like on my Snapchat just because we were snapping back and forth and like, at the party and stuff. Like, everybody does it. And I go, look, you do look like her. She goes like, oh my God, it's like looking in a slutty mirror. I lost it. I was like, I can't even be mad at that. But that's the entire moral of the story is if you're having a hard time making money, go become a cab driver near a college campus. Because those cab drivers probably got cashed out because, like, I know for a fact earlier that night I had at least $350 to $400 on me in cash. All right, I knew that because like that was my play money. That's how it shut. You put your play money in cash. Once you're out of cash, you can't touch anything else. You know what I'm saying? It's all knowing that, and yeah. But I didn't have any more play money, so. But next week, do you have the strain for next week?
So I'm guessing. So, today, G-Perps review. So
G-Perps, sorry.
23% THC, indica, hybrid. I would definitely think it's totally indica dominant.
I can see your face is relaxed more. Like that second joint did you in? You're like, I gotta take a nap.
I need to get my butt up and start moving and make this ear cleaner.
Fix your dog. Fix that dog.
So she's like going like that. So I think it's like definitely helps me with my pain today, relaxing. A lot of like very, very like mouth dry. I can't. Like my mouth is so dry.
Right.
I need to get up and get something to drink.
Let's do this though.
Yeah.
Let's end it here. Let's tell us the strain for next week and
G6,
ooh.
opposite.
Okay.
Sativas. Let's go back
that
to
jet
sativa.
fuel.
Yes, jet fuel.
So next week, I want to hear an embarrassing story from you.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Because I talked way too much today.
Okay. Let's go.
Absolutely. But it's got to be embarrassing because I'm a piece of shit.
All right. I'll think about
But no,
it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate everything you do. I think that the strain of the week is going to go really, really good as we kind of evolve from there. You know what I'm saying? I'm stupid excited for the G6 next week. There's like a G6 joke in there somewhere. Use it at your own risk. But I look forward to it. And I mean, yeah, shit. We'll see you guys next week at noon o'clock, y'all.
I need a drink.
See you guys.
Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cheers.